Looking for a new podcast? Get our Backstage Pass with Gentry Thomas, who interviews the biggest names in movies, sports, and interesting people in show business. Hear the chats with Jay Leno, Spike Lee, Kevin Costner, Tim Tebow, plus Gentry's classic interview with the great Bob Saget. Get the questions nobody's asking. Subscribe to Backstage Pass with Gentry Thomas. Now streaming all episodes on Spotify.
Hey guys, you hear about that guy that died of asbestos poisoning?
No, what happened, John?
Took him 3 weeks to cremate him.
Hey man, welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast, dude.
Welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast on the podcast playground. Hey, welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast. We're here with a group of regulars.
I like that. I like that smooth intro.
That was great. That was like
say it again, maybe.
Welcome to the big like glass.
Like glass.
Well, we're starting to run out. All right, shut up. I'm going to introduce you.
Introduce me, John.
We have there with, I can't even tell you what you're wearing because we are now on an audio podcast. We have Mike Grief, Dean of the Clown. I can't talk
wow,
today.
You're Dean of the Clan? And you're here?
Come on, John. Have you been sampling the cocaine that they found at the White House? Did you find John Jr.'s cocaine?
I think we have to start over.
No, we don't. Keep going.
That's my call. I always say I think we should start over. We have Mike Grief.
Hey, how you doing out
Dean
there,
of
people?
the Clown Quawage.
The Queen of the Clown Quawage. I feel like
Sounds like I'm drinking.
What's her name from?
All right, okay, I'm starting again myself.
Blazing Saddles. Queen of the... Go ahead.
I'm starting myself. Ready?
Hold on, do another
Welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast. We got a great show for you today. We have the Dean of the Clown College, the Long Island Clown Mike Grief.
Oh, man, I am leaving. I'm taking off. I'm going. He can Clown Quawage.
And, of course, we have the highest paid guy on the show, Craig Mitchell.
I really was hoping you were going to say Meg Critchell. I really was.
I don't know
Meg Critchell.
What's happening, man? What's going on, guys?
I don't know. I've been reading some stuff in the paper this week. This woman gave birth in the sea.
In the sea.
And it was in Egypt in the Red Sea.
Oh,
and let me tell you something. It would have been anywhere it would have been the Red Sea.
Jeez. Like the fish don't have it hard enough.
She went out into the ocean.
Yeah.
She squatted down there was two men with her. One of them was the husband. She had the baby.
Wait, was this on purpose? She was going there to have a baby?
Oh, yeah. She was going there to have the baby.
Let's go for a dip.
She probably just thought she was walking in to take a leak or something. I'm just got to go to the...
And no, because the one guy was prepared. He had a net to catch the afterbirth.
He had a net to catch the baby.
I know, it's the most bizarre story in the world. And then they didn't even bring a scissor to cut the umbilical cord, so they had to come walking out with the baby still attached.
No, they just grabbed the shark.
Find the shark.
Snap.
And they're saying that this is so dangerous because, first of all, if the baby swallowed salt water, it could be deadly. There could be sharks. The woman could drown. Because let me tell you something. My wife has had I have two kids, and I was in the delivery room for both of them. And taking a dip is the furthest thing from their mind while they're in labor.
Yeah. I think my wife's, her main thought when my son was being born was like, I'd like to stab you. Stab you.
I know.
Well, it's really, I used to be, my parents used to manage an apartment complex on Long Island. And my mom was like, she would answer the phones, do all the clerical stuff. My dad did the work. And she got an emergency call from a woman screaming that she was dying. So my mom ran up the stairs, got into the woman's apartment, and she was on her toilet. There was blood everywhere. And she was giving birth. She didn't even know she was pregnant.
Wow.
And she gave birth on the toilet because she thought she just had to go to the bathroom.
Okay, so as you know, I used to be a man of medicine. Now I was
John, you were a drug dealer. What are you
man of medicine?
Man of medicine. I used to
Anyway.
deal drugs.
My technical title is John Ferrantino, LXTRT, licensed radiologic technologist at Albert Einstein.
Sure, that you can
Anyway,
say.
listen to this. So
That you
back
can
then,
say.
back
Craig
then they
Mitchell,
didn't have.
LGB, GTO.
All right, so back then they didn't have sonograms because they weren't invented yet.
Right. They
So
just used
what-
to light a match behind the lady and look through
No,
it.
so they had to wait for the full eclipse. No, so what they used to do is the woman would come down into the x-ray room, she would lay down, and then you would take this thing that looked like a ruler picture on a tripod, and then you would take that, and then you would take that and place it on the woman's pelvic bone, and the ruler would go across, and then they could measure how far the pelvis was dilated.
Right.
Because so they knew like about approximately how
Don't
much
they
time
have to?
had.
They'd have to measure your pelvis before you started showing anything. They got to know how much.
Well, no, your pelvis is usually
because you could be just getting to be a fat bastard. You know,
No.
hey, your pelvis growing. No,
If you're
Stop
a fat
eating.
bastard, and you're pregnant, we really have a problem. But anyway,
Then
so
you're a pregnant
anyway,
fat bastard.
so your pelvis is usually touching at the pubis bones are touching, and then they open when you're about to have a baby. So they do one laying down and one standing up. So I had this woman on the table, and we measured it, and I stood up the table.
did.
The table,
we measured it, and then I put it away.
the table goes up by itself like in a Frankenstein movie. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the table went up, she went, "Here it comes!" And I went, "What?" And I put the table down and I delivered the baby.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It just came. And I mean, it wasn't anything. It wasn't like I did any big hero move. She goes, "Here it comes." And the baby came right out on the table.
So there's a human being in the
And
world
then I
today that
fainted.
you were the
And then
first person to see and touch.
Then I fainted. No, I'm kidding.
And then I ate the after. No. Ooh.
And then, yeah, it was amazing though. It was really amazing.
No, it's
The
not.
miracle.
It just came right out. It just came right out.
Dude, my son took 23 hours to be born. Like we went to the thing, and at the end they gave her something to induce the pregnancy. And of course, my doctor is having he's got two patients, my wife and this somebody else, and he's delivering as she's just delivering. He's in the other room delivering the other one, and I go out in the hallway and I go, I'm just scared. I get that motherfucker. And just as he runs in the room, delivers my kid at like 0 seconds left to go.
I remember Margie, when my kids were being born, she refused to take any type of medication.
God bless
And
her.
she wanted to take this contraction standing up.
Tell the
because
truth, though, John. She wouldn't take the medicine, but you did.
I needed it. And,
And he did it
and
before the show
anyway,
today too.
so she wanted to take the contraction standing up
Right.
because the gravity helps. And I remember hanging on the edge of the bed, like screaming, and the doctor coming in going, "Take something. You are not a pioneer woman." And she said no.
Oh,
Anyway,
God.
yeah, so the baby is safe.
Well, what did the pioneers take? You just bit down on a stick or something, or
Bit
you know,
down on a stick.
that was your pain. You know,
Yeah,
they were tough.
they were tough, but they all had perfect teeth. If you ever watched those 1928 or 1823 or whatever they are, they
Yeah,
had perfect teeth. And the Indians look like
So
they
there was
all
no
came from
sugar. That's why.
John,
The
the
Indians all look-
Native Americans.
Native Americans, and they all look like they just came from the hairdresser.
There was no sugar.
They
and
all
their
just
teeth
came
were
from the
fine.
hairdresser.
They had perfect braids.
That's it, man.
So yeah, and then we found, like you said, we mentioned there was cocaine found in the White House.
Yeah, man. You know what?
Don Jr. is all upset because
Don
Eric was
Jr.
supposed to hide it.
That's where he left it.
Eric was supposed to hide it, you know, between the bunk beds.
Can I ask you guys a question? Are you surprised that somebody in the White House has cocaine?
No, I wish they would give Joe Biden
No.
some cocaine, man. Seriously, dude. I mean, like, you know, he's doing it, you know, but he's 80 years old. Give the dude some coke, man.
Oh man.
But I
don't know.
think it was somebody from the outside because it's right where they put their phones into a cubby.
What I want to know is okay.
I want to know
Tom,
how much it was. Was it
Yeah.
a little bag? Was it a
how
pound
much-
and a
But
half?
not only that, but
Pound and a half.
let's be serious. You know, we're all adults here and whatever.
I'm not
We're
here
all-
to be serious.
I've done my share of drugs. Craig's done his share of drugs. John's done his share of drugs.
Nah, never.
Who loses
I've done my share and
cocaine?
your share of drugs.
Who loses cocaine? Who? Nobody loses
Well, it
cocaine.
could have been stuck to the back of their
I've
phone.
I've lost my
stash.
keys. I've lost my kid.
I've lost my stash before.
I've lost fucking my car. I've never lost cocaine.
Well, you're in the White House. You're probably, if you're a guest, you're probably in an altered state anyway.
Or I wonder if they were just getting to the security point, and the guy, they wouldn't let you in like for the tour.
They
so
had to go through
stashed it
security.
somewhere.
They had to go through security, and they had to put their phones in a cubbyhole.
And if you were security,
So,
and you found
meanwhile,
cocaine, would you
okay,
turn
let's
it in?
look at this. This is the funniest. Okay, so here's these guys, right? The guy lost his cocaine, and now okay, you lost your cocaine. It's a drag, all right? But now they're going to know who lost it. Their FBI is checking surveillance cameras. They fingerprinted it. They sent it off to Quantico.
I'm amazed that somebody turned it in. If I found it, I would have been like, wow.
I personally hope it's Martha Stewart. That would be a great story.
Martha Stewart. She got it from Snoop.
This is Martha Stewart's locker.
She got it from Snoop.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that is the most unlikely couple in the world.
Oh man,
Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg.
I can't argue
so
that.
Funny. That is so funny. That is so funny.
I know, right?
It's like,
they're not a couple. They're just
friends. No, but
No,
I'm just saying it's like a pairing of friendship. You know,
pairing them up
like,
as they seem like they should be friends. But then
awfully cool, man.
I give that credit to Martha Stewart, and she actually just like posed naked for something. She's like 146 years old.
What?
She didn't tell us naked. She did like Sports Illustrated or something.
Well, I don't think she had any clothes on, so that was. She's covering something
she
on.
had clothes up.
No, that was just her skin. It looks like clothes at this point. She's so old.
She had plaid on. Oh no, that's her skin.
It's just her skin.
Well, but didn't she go to jail, right?
She did. Yeah, what was it, for tax evasion or was it drug possession?
Oh, tax evasion.
They got her for what they got the Queen of Mean, Leona
Actually,
Helmsley.
no, it wasn't tax evasion. It was something to do with trading.
Insider trading, something like that. Yeah,
I don't know. It was shares, and I have no. I don't care.
That's why Snoop Dogg wanted to be her friend.
Yeah,
because she went to jail.
Yeah, I always imagine Martha in jail, and she takes a shiv and she kills somebody, and right before they die, she goes, "It's a good thing." That's what I always
Your Honor, then she wrapped the weapon in her shawl.
And she made toast for everybody.
They the other thing, that big thing in the news was they had I don't know if you saw it, the text messages between the submarine and the vehicle above.
You were mentioning that, man. That's
no.
This is a comedy podcast, John.
Yeah. What are you
doing? No. I mean, it's just we were talking about it. No. Because we did a show before.
John's gonna do. John's next subject is puppies on fire. That's
no.
Puppies on fire.
No, this is
Picking Kittens with John Ferrantino. Welcome to.
This is kind of no. I think that this is.
Come on, you put hot sauce on your dog's food, don't you?
I think it's amazing that, first of all, it's a tragedy. There's certainly a tragedy. Certainly these guys know what they signed up for.
Yeah.
But it's all I kept thinking was, as bad as it was, I just think it would have been much worse being on the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Right. And they're saying, well, just be calm and breathe slowly.
Yeah, just
hopefully we'll be found. At least this doctor was on saying that this happened so fast.
Yeah.
That your brain couldn't even register.
The last text was, "Is it hot in here? Am I sweating, or is that?"
No. The last text was, "Is that afterbirth from some woman?"
No, stop it, man. I'm not. You guys are making jokes about it. I'm just saying it was real. I just thought it was really weird when they were trying to come up, and the thing wouldn't go up.
They dropped their weight. They heard creaking.
Right, that's the worst part.
I'm sorry. In every submarine movie, when you hear the creaking, you're like, "Oh, that's not good." Yeah. No, I'm not being funny. It's true. And they dropped their weights, but they still weren't gaining any. They weren't
coming up, and they were deeper than everyone thought. They were at like.
Welcome to the fun section of the show.
All right.
So what did you guys do for the fourth?
What did it do? Well, what did it do for the fourth? I just barbecued and hung out and
calmed your dog down.
Yes, actually, yes. I had to dope him up. No, I buy these things. that keep him calm, because I mean he just goes nuts on the 4th of July. So I feed him some of those, and actually then I got a Thunder shirt. You ever know what the Thunder shirt is?
Yep.
I got one on now.
Now I got my Thunder underwear on.
I got a Thunder shirt on right now because
Every time I go to Taco Bell, I wear my.
I never know where you guys are gonna go.
I never know, so it keeps me calm. So I put the Thunder shirt on him, and then just let him hung out. We used to go out. I feel so bad because the first year we had him, I never really had a dog before. And is that the gay bell just went off?
No.
No. All right.
What bell?
John said every time if I'm drifting into, and then we don't say gay as a derogatory thing around here. We mean happy. Anyway, forget it. So the first year we got the dog. I never really had a dog before. My dog's at rescue. So we went out, we went out on the 4th of July the first year. We went to there's a rodeo, bullfight, fireworks show, and we had a great time and came home.
You took the dog with you?
No, we left him home.
Okay.
We left him home.
And I say dogs dig rodeos.
We couldn't find him when we got home. He was fucking so far under the bed. I mean, he had become part of the wall. He was like trying to become part. And I was like, wow, I never knew. I didn't know dogs were terrible.
Right.
You don't think about it if you don't own an animal. So
no, it's
now we stay home on the 4th of July and we just take care of him.
Yeah, because I have a way that I can let the dog out while we're gone.
Yeah.
And Chris said, no, you got to close that down because like dogs get so freaked out, like they'll run away.
He might run away.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, when I came home, I drove on 4th of July. When I came home, my cat had written a suicide note. So thank God I got home in time.
Yeah. She's
He
talking.
had 8 more lives, so it was okay.
No,
Yeah, that's true.
I talked to your cat many times, man. She's been planning it for a long time.
I know.
You're gonna find her one day.
I will. My 4th of July, I had a party at my house for my son was in town, Lindsay was in town, my daughter.
You always have parties.
My cousin was in. We had 24 people in my pool.
24 in your pool. I've seen your pool, John. You've had 24 people in your pool,
and they were all in the shallow section, sitting on the ground,
which is like a 2x4 section. I mean,
no, my pool's big. My pool's 14 by 24 with a side section, 6 feet by 6 feet.
Is that it? Really? It looks small because I think my pool's a kidney shape and it's like 30 something by.
Hey, I used to have a kidney shaped pool.
I donated my kidney pool.
No, that was the Rodney joke. I got a kidney shaped pool. It got a stone.
So what would you?
So anyway, wait. So I was serving hot dogs. Right while we were getting ready for the regular food to people in the pool.
The regular food. Come on, man. Hot dogs are regular food.
No. I mean, we had like heroes and pulled pork, and there was more food than you can imagine. But anyway,
American.
So Chris's Lindsay,
right,
and her husband were here with the baby.
The musician who we want to have
No,
on
not
the
the musician. No. He was the baseball player.
The other daughter. Okay.
Baseball player. Yeah.
Baseball.
And I played for the Cubs. And anyway, so he goes like this. I go, hey, Taylor, you want a hot dog? And he goes, it's not 4th of July until you have a Nathan's hot dog on a Wonder Bread roll with yellow mustard. So I gave him one. He ate it. I gave him another one. Finally, I go, hey, you want another one? He goes, I've had 6.
Now, where is he from? Is he from New York?
He's from Florida.
What's his name?
From Florida.
Taylor Gushu.
So if he knew what was in a Nathan's hot dog, he wouldn't be saying it's not.
Meanwhile, my daughter Lindsay held fast. She has never even had a bite of a hot dog.
Wow.
When she was in
what
like
is
3rd grade, when she was in 3rd grade, she saw a video about how hot dogs are made. And for her whole life, and Johnny started it again. I'll give you $25. Just take a bite. And she's like, nope. He goes, $50 if you take a bite. Nope.
Lindsay, I love you, but buy that damn hot dog.
I know. And we're all going, you don't know.
Off of a street vendor in New York. We'll get it with mustard.
We're all going, you don't know what you're missing.
With that 40-year-old water they keep in those things. It's something, there's magic in that water.
Dirty dog water. What are you talking about over here?
But I mean, that's like kind of a ghoul thing when everyone's sitting in the pool eating hot dogs.
Yeah, no, it's not a ghoul thing. It's something.
You should hit the gay bell for that. Hit the gay bell.
Hit the gay bell. Lindsay, stop it, Lindsay.
Craig's been at those parties before.
If
Plenty
you
of
found
hot
out what was in
dogs.
pizza, then you wouldn't eat pizza either. Okay.
Hot dogs and buns
don't-
everywhere.
They don't treat that cheese well.
So I told you guys I had a story.
That's great. That's great, Craig. When did you get here? Anyway, John.
I decided to drive.
There goes the
I decided to drive rideshare for
Yeah.
4th of July to make some extra cash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
you guys hate that way, or else it's not official. And you know, it was started off great. Every highway I was on, I would see fireworks going off. You know, tons of fireworks. I mean, it's like the Ukraine war out here. By the way, at night, it's just everybody's got these amazing, expensive fireworks. You know,
Wait,
like
can we
John
go back to the submarine? It's the Ukraine war over here. He's like,
No, seriously. So what happened?
let's go back
So
to
what
people
happened is I
dying
got a
on the
ride.
depths.
I got a ride from this woman, and I didn't realize it at the time.
You got a ride from her. I thought you were driving.
Ride
Oh.
for this woman. I said,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
and I took her to Watts. And
What?
yeah, I took her to Watts, right, and South Central,
Right.
and I'm just gonna say this. You know, I know that's where they had the riots in 1992, but my only takeaway is these people are armed to the fucking teeth, because there was explosions everywhere. I would turn down roads and there'd be an explosion in front of my car. It was literally like being in one of the worst MASH episodes you've ever could think of, where explosions.
What do you mean
If you-
explosions? Like fireworks
It was-
in the road?
No,
No,
fireworks in
shooting guns.
the road.
They shoot
Yeah,
guns
I had
and
to back up
fireworks.
and go down another road because they were shooting off stuff. There was We were driving at one point, and there was an explosion to the right side of my car that shook the whole car. And she actually screamed in the car. I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's just a shock from the explosion.
I'm
We're
sorry.
fine.
My opinion is that if you want fireworks, go to a professional show. Don't buy
Dude.
your little friggin' nothing that doesn't even look that good, just so you can scare
these
every
look-
dog in the
these look-
neighborhood.
I'm
Or-
sorry.
and-
These guys had pro stuff.
And the other
Amazing.
tip is don't hire Richie and I.
Yeah.
Don't hire, yeah, they'll blow shit.
But at one point, I was going to pick somebody up, and I was going to take a ride out of there because I felt like I was in the middle of a battle. I really did. And I make a turn down the road, and there's a thing sparking in the middle of the street, and I couldn't stop in time,
Mhm.
so I just gunned it. And I
You ran over that, and the people
Turned
shooting
out
it
to be a
off.
sparkler.
I didn't know. I just ran over it, and after I got about 5 feet away from it, it exploded. Like
Ah, so you got
That's a
lucky.
good thing.
Really
That's a
lucky.
good thing to run over.
I
Yeah,
had to. I
because-
couldn't stop.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
you're
my-
lucky you're lucky you didn't, because the gas tank is down there. And
Yeah.
But
you would have
know,
been part of the 4th of July fucking celebration in Watts.
It was, I
Remember that time we blew that
I
guy
really
up?
wasn't scared. I was just amazed at the amount of pyrotechnics I was watching,
Yeah.
and and they're using big,
Yeah,
expensive
mortars and
stuff,
shit.
man.
Yeah.
There was mortars, dude. Like you were talking about, it's gigantic stuff.
It must be easier to get because you see tons. I mean, you see it everywhere. You just see it. That seems like there's way more
And
of it
it's
than
so
there
funny
ever used
because
to be.
in Florida, it's legal, and there was very little this year.
That's interesting.
I mean, you could go to Walmart and buy fireworks.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I'm thinking of it. If Red Dawn had taken place in South Central, that movie would be 10 minutes long.
So let me ask you a
One.
question: is that where? And we're talking about the L.A. riots in '90.
Watts.
was
Yeah,
it
Watts.
92?
Watts riots.
Is that
yeah.
where? Is that the one where the Big E, the big one?
You mean
Can't remember his
I
name.
can't think of
now.
his name.
Rodney King?
Yeah.
Rodney King.
No.
I don't know if he was in Watts.
Was
no.
that during? No, that was a whole separate incident. You're thinking of the truck driver they pulled out of the
Right.
truck.
Yeah.
Rodney, I think his name was, and then they beat him, and that might have been. I don't know. I wasn't out here. I didn't come out here until
Okay,
'95.
so I was doing Comic Strip Live that night, right? And I get to the airport. Rory was flying out with Robert Klein because he was doing the Tonight Show the night after. And I
Rory or
called-
Robert Klein?
Both of them. Both of them. But anyway, so I had this limo driver that used to take me to the airport because I used to go to the airport so much. They just gave me a deal, and every third trip was free. So I would have this stretch limo. So the guy goes to me, "Hey, man, where are you going?" And I go, "LA." He goes, "What are you, crazy?" And I go, "What?" He goes, "The whole city's on fire." And I go, "What?" He goes, "There's a huge riot going on out there." So I call Rory. And I go, "Hey, Rory," I go, "we still going? There's a huge riot going on." And he goes, "Don't be a baby, just get in the plane."
I love it.
So I get on the plane, and I fly and I get off at LA, and of course my luggage doesn't show up. My whole act. That's the guy in the airport was doing his own personal protest and sent my luggage to Hawaii. Right.
Somebody's got a collector cleaver somewhere.
So anyway, so I land, right, and there's usually a car that picks you up. And I call the emergency number because there's no car. And this is what I get. Hi, thank you for calling Fox Studio. We're in the process of evacuation. I hope this hasn't caused you any inconvenience. And I was like, now I can't call Rory because he's on the plane, right?
I love it.
And then
Don't be a baby.
And Ray Romano was already there because he flew the day before. I called Ray, and Ray was like, "Oh, I'm here. The town's on fire.
On fire!"
Right. So I go. They go. Who can you call? You know, Ghostbusters. Who can you call? So I called, believe it or not, Graham Nash, because he told me if I'm ever stuck at the LAX airport, to call.
John, I didn't mean during a fucking riot, John.
He's not playing this long over the phone to you.
He's not Scottish. So anyway, so I called, and he wasn't in town, but his tour manager was, and he goes, I go, hey Matt, I go, it's Ferrantino. He goes, please don't tell me you're at the LAX airport.
Oh, shit.
And I go, I am. He goes, all right, listen, I'm just going to pull up. You got to dive in the car. I'm not even stopping. And I went there, and that's where I spent the LA riots.
Wow, with Graham Nash.
It's good to have.
No, not with Graham Nash. He was in New York or something, but with the tour manager at Graham's house.
It's good to have friends.
Wild. It was
wild.
Was
it the house that was a very, very, very nice house? He
no,
wrote
I
that
think
song.
it was
Remember
actually,
when he was on the show? He told us he wrote that song with Joni Mitchell.
Joni Mitchell, yeah. She they went out they went to, neither one of them had a lot of money in those days. They went to some street fair, and there was a vase, and Joni was like, I really love that vase. And he goes, well, just buy it, you know? And she goes, we can't really afford it. He goes, just buy it. So they bought it, and then
they wrote that song.
Yeah.
And they got home. Just as a preface for anyone who doesn't know out there, John is very good friends with Graham Nash from Crosby, Stills and Nash. Matter of fact, he was Crosby, Stills and Nash opening act for 10 years or so, 15 years.
Yeah.
15 years.
10 years.
So if you didn't know that little
5 years you want him to be.
Tidbit.
But yeah, what did he say? What is the words then? He goes,
you light the fire and I'll place the flowers in the vase that you bought today. Such a lovely room.
Place the flower.
Windows are illuminated by the. I don't know.
Love to sing,
huh?
So,
you guys
love to sing.
Yeah, you would think we were the gay guys.
Yeah, hit the gay bell.
Hit the gay bell.
It was crazy. I mean, it was really crazy. I just remember, it was like a war zone out there while it was going on. You know.
Yeah. I remember even in New York, because I was living in the projects at that time. I think I got divorced, and I was living back with my mother and father, whatever the hell. I moved in just one of my drunken places to crash and so I just remember at that time I had a gun under my arm. I had one in my waistband and one in my friggin' ankles. There was riots in LA, and there was a lot going on in New York too.
I was in Reading, Pennsylvania, and I had a joke on my act that I didn't know was incendiary, no pun intended. I told this joke in my act where I said, in my act back then, I pretended I was straight because I was too afraid to come out of the closet. And I said, yeah, so thank you, the gay bell. So I said, yeah, so I was trying to impress my girlfriend the other day, and I decided to do a load of laundry, and she comes in and she starts screaming, no, you can't mix the colors with the whites. I'm like, calm down. It's laundry, not Los Angeles.
Oh, that's a good joke.
And I went in and I told my girlfriend that, and my girlfriend said, "Shut up, or I'll hit you right in the face." Yeah.
and I had a black man in the audience stand up and go, "That's not fucking funny," and he started yelling at me in the middle of the show, and I was like,
"Well, you guys will. I will not mention any names, but this is a comedian that we all know. 3 days after the LA riots, he was also the host of the TV show. He said to me, "What are you doing?" I go, "Nothing." He goes,
I know who you're talking about.
He goes, I'm gonna pick you up. I got to go pick up all my guns from every comedian.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And we had a trunk full of guns by the time we got
You know
back.
what? Let me tell you something. I won't say his name. I don't think he'd give a shit if we did say his name, but he knows who he is.
Mickey Rooney.
And you know what? Let me tell you something. He at that time he was a good friend to have.
Yeah.
I'd like, you wanted a trunk full of guns when there's riots going on.
He lent them to everybody.
Yeah.
He lent them to everybody.
It's John, loan a gun.
I go, how many more stops? He goes, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
But meanwhile, it was great because we were cruising around in like a 1968 red GTO with a white leather interior.
I love that car. I used to hang out with. We used to go driving in that. When I first came out, I lived with him for like a couple of weeks. He's just the coolest guy.
Now I know who we're talking about.
And so whatever. But anyway, yeah, we used to cruise in that car, man. Oh God, it was like heaven.
Oh.
Yeah, it was cool going down Sunset Strip at night in that thing.
Well, speaking of the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles and all that, we have a guest today.
Yes.
You know, and I'm going to be honest about this. Whenever I used to watch the Carson show and he says, now we have an author, I would go, oh. But no, we got a cool author on our show.
Very cool.
You know, I mean, seriously, I have all three of his. Well, I have three of his books. He may have more, but the ones that he's written books about Hollywood, about acting. And Mike, you and I were both character actors. John, you're a character. And the thing is, he's written a book about all these characters. He has Character Kings is the first book, Character Kings 2, because there was so much demand for more. And he has another book out right now on character actor John Polito. So I just want to welcome our guest today, author extraordinaire Scott VOISIN. Let's hear it for Scott.
Scott, welcome, Scott. Welcome to the Big
Bad
Broadcast. John Polito.
Yeah.
I knew John. I was I worked with him, but I also years ago hung out with him. So I was actually friends with John. Rest his soul. He was a good man.
He was a very good man.
What made you write a book about John Polito?
Actually, John asked me to help him write a book.
Is this when he was sick? Because I know he died in 2016.
Right. Yeah. I had interviewed him for Character Kings 2. And when that book came out in 2014, I had a signing at Dark Delicacies in Burbank,
which I couldn't make it to, and I'm still pissed about it.
Also, we should tell before we get into all of this, John left, for anyone who might not know who John Polito is.
Right.
He was a great character actor, but I'll let Scott, you obviously.
Scott, we talked about this. What do you think? Do you think his signature role was on Modern Family?
I think in his later years, it definitely was. I mean, that gave him some great exposure. Modern Family was a huge hit. But I think for a lot of film fans, they probably recognize him more for his work with the Coen brothers.
Oh, that's
he
right.
did Miller's Crossing, Barton Fink. He made a cameo in The Big Lebowski. So I think that is where a lot of people know him from.
And I'm going to do my impression now. And also in The Rocketeer, when The Rocketeer's flying around and everything's going crazy, he goes, "It's all a part of the show." Thank you so much.
Very good.
Yeah, if you don't know who he is out there, look him up, man.
What was his name on Modern Family?
Earl Chambers.
Earl Chambers. He was the guy who had the closet company opposite Ed O'Neill, who had, and so he was like they were like mortal enemies. So if you and the bald guy, mustache.
I met John when I first moved out to LA. He had been on Crime Story, the show Crime Story, with Tony Dennison, my buddy Tony Dennison. So when I moved out, I used to go over Tony's house every weekend and we'd have a barbecue and John would come over. So we'd hang out. So like I said, I knew John for a long time. I moved out in 1995, or whatever. So I knew him for a long time. A good man. And I got to work with him on a show called Players with Ice-T and Costas Mandylor.
So just backing up a bit, it was Character Kings your first book or your first book you wrote, or because I said 3 books, but I failed to look to see if you had others. Forgive me. I'm just so interested in the character actors.
Yeah, Character Kings was my first one. That came out in 2009, and then part 2 came out in 2014.
So just to point out, in Character Kings, I mean, you had so many amazing people that you interviewed. I mean, Clancy Brown, Tobin Bell, Paul Gleason. you know, some people are not with us anymore. Like Art LaFleur, who I thought was a great
Art
character
LaFleur.
actor.
I bought furniture from Art LaFleur.
You did?
I did. I did. I bought. He was. It's amazing. Like we answered an ad to buy. I needed a dresser, and sorry to cut you off like this, but
No.
it's an interesting. And look again. Art LaFleur is a really famous character actor and
Yeah.
wonderful actor. And so what we answered an ad for some furniture. We show up at the house, and who opens the door? But freaking Art. I'm like, oh, and we bought the furniture too. So
I mean,
I still have some of Art LaFleur's furniture.
that's nice. And we also a friend of the show. He's been on Daniel Roebuck too. So, I think, and James Caron, and I know some. If I'm throwing out names here, but if you're a fan of any TV or movies in the past 70s, 80s, you're going to recognize these names. James Caron, of course, was most famous for being the ShopRite guy. If you remember that ShopRite guy, he was also in
John's like, I don't know.
John has
any
no
of these
clue.
ones. The truth is I don't know who. If you say their names, I
You
don't
just
know them
rattled
either.
off 20 or 30
I
names.
recognize
no one
Clancy
but you
Brown.
knows.
That's not just
And
me.
The two of you know. That's
That's
it.
not true.
No one in the world knows those names except for you
Oh my
two guys.
I was going to say when you
It's like he had a guest on the show once that talked about shows that didn't make it, and no one but him and Craig are the only two that even knew what was going on.
That was like we were doing.
And Craig was just fascinated, and Mike and I were just sitting there going,
I know.
wasn't there? Okay, wait. Wasn't there? There was a book years ago when I was a kid. It was a bathroom book because my grandfather always had these bathroom books, like Jokes for the John. But there was a book out years ago with all actors from like the 30s and the 40s that were like, I think it was called like People That You See But You Don't Know Who They Are or something.
Yeah.
Well, Scott,
And-
what made you write a book about? I mean, trust me, I appreciate that. I do. I look because
This book would be great for me. Let me
And
tell
Mike
you.
and Mike wants to know if he can be in Character Kings 3. He wants to know.
No,
I am working
no.
on Character Kings.
Trust me.
Awesome.
Me and my wife have a running joke every time we see like somebody deliver 2 or 3 lines or whatever, 4 lines, and she'll go, "It's the Mike Grief part."
So what was the impetus for you to start writing when you wrote Character Kings 1?
It was just like anything else, I was a fan. I grew up watching movies and TV, and back in those days, People Magazine, stuff like that. You'd always see the big stars. They would be on the cover. You could learn anything you wanted to about them. What I was interested in was the guys that showed up for like 5 minutes and played the same part almost in every movie.
Yeah.
Right.
In any given
Maybe I
year,
should be in your book then.
Yeah, in any given year, you could watch these guys in like 5 movies, see him on TV 4 or 5 times. In the case of James Caron, he's on commercials. But these guys, you see them everywhere, but they never got any publicity.
It's sad
all
because
you knew was their face.
the only time you learn their name is when there's some kind of scandal, if they kill somebody or they get arrested for something, But
doesn't it work? Doesn't that work to their advantage? Like if you don't know so much who they are, because you have this character actor who, like, say, plays the gunslinger, right? And he looks like the gunslinger. So without people really knowing who he is, you can put him in 5 movies.
Yeah, but I would say,
Right?
and my opinion on that is the only.
I could be totally wrong. I'm just,
I have friends like that, and I purposely try to make myself look different because you don't want to get stereotyped. You want to get all kinds of parts. Like I've played Santa Claus, I've played kids' dads, I've played bikers, the obvious stuff. But I've played totally against.
He really has a real range. He plays bikers, bouncers, tough guys, mafia guys, and hitmen.
Well, that's the whole idea.
I've played cops. I've played
I'm
the
kidding,
cops. But anyway, my point is that when I remember when I was a kid, and you could say like from our favorite shows, which is like All in the Family, Cheer, whatever, you could say, hey, remember that episode of All in the Family and that guy that came, and I wouldn't know the name, but I would remember that.
See, that would be
it. Yeah, me too. That's my thing. I remember.
We used to refer to him like somebody would show up on a TV show and you go, "Oh, that guy." Yeah. We would do that all the time.
Right. That's what I do. I watch TV.
That's what my mother
my
does
phone
when I
and
show
I
up for a visit. She goes, "Oh, that guy."
It's so funny. I do that all the time. I watch TV with my phone and I go, that guy's been in a million things. Then I go, the cast of the show. Then I find that guy and I go, oh yeah, I know who he is. I do that all the time.
So Scott, you have so many people in both books, but are there any stories from any actors, like say in Character Kings 1 and 2, that really stick out, that really impressed you and surprised you when you wrote the book?
God, there's so many. I'm not an actor. I've never aspired to get into the entertainment industry
Because you're sane. Because you're sane. That's why.
Yeah.
So you and Craig have that in common.
Wow, Dick. Okay.
Ring the gay bell.
These guys, their stories are so unique, and they've all just accomplished so many things. But I think one of the biggest takeaways, just as a collective group, is the reasons that they got into acting. You know, what spurred them to pursue that line of work. And it seems like it, for more or less, it all falls into three categories. One, they love the attention. Two, they tried to get girls. And three,
well, that leaves me out.
and three, it was just something that was in their bones. It's once they got a taste of it, they couldn't imagine doing anything else.
It is like a heroin. I have to say that it is unlike anything else when it's working, but there is no worse rejection also. So, when you either, it's a strange life, because here you're talking about character actors. Most famous actors, they go out, they get offered a job. They're not auditioning. They're not whatever. Nobody's telling Johnny Depp, hey, can you read? Well, you never know, but I doubt it. These character actors, and trust me, I've probably most of those guys a lot of those guys in your book, I've read against and gone up for parts against, and with 300 or 400 other guys. You're going in for a part, and there's so many guys reading for it, and there's and it's like, you have to love it. You have to. It's because trust me, most actors do not make a living, even though people see you on TV and they think you're a zillionaire. Most actors, and I did a lot of shows. Listen, I made enough. I've got a pension from the Screen Actors Guild, so I worked enough, and I had the health cut, all that stuff. But most actors, and even mine, didn't really make a living. I had to work on this, like Craig has to, do his ride share because he has no other skills or talents. But when I have to,
total dick.
But he is the highest paid guy in the show.
But he's the highest guy.
That's right.
Guy. No, but you have to
now.
love it. It has to be like heroin, because why else go for it? Like when I started con, the first time I made somebody laugh, it was, so you have to love it. So wait, I want to know what was, now you might not want to say this, but who was your favorite character actor?
You have a favorite?
Oh, geez.
If you don't say me, you can sign off now. No, I'm kidding. Great having you here, Scott.
Well, thanks. No, I mean, these guys, they're so incredible. I mean, trying to choose one is like trying to choose your favorite kid. I mean, you can't do it.
He's afraid of being sued. You understand that, right, guys?
Did you interview these guys personally for your book, or is this just from research and whatever? Did you get to meet a lot of? I mean, I know a lot of them are no longer alive, but a lot of them are. Did you get to meet any of them?
I did all the interviews over the phone. So, I'm here in Ohio. Everybody else is out on the coast.
Right.
A few of them are in New York, but yeah, it was all over the phone. Great guys. Don't have one bad thing to say about any of them. I mean, they were just so kind and very generous with their time. And it's kind of cool because in my experience, I talked to a lot of people that play the villains, Bob Gunton.
Yeah.
Clancy Brown.
Yep. Well,
Tobin Bell.
Bob Gunton was.
Yeah, and I don't know those names besides Clancy Brown. I know Clancy Brown, but I don't know the other names.
Was the warden in Shawshank. He's the guy who found the hole in the wall in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
That's Bob Gunton.
So a lot of these guys have played great villains, but in my experience, the villains turn out to be the nicest guys in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's more fun. They always say it's more fun to play a villain, As a matter of fact, now I have two friends in Character Kings 1. You have Dan Roebuck. In Character Kings 2, you have Dwayne Whitaker. These are two people I hang out with. But my favorite character actor is Richard Reilly. because for that exact thing, nicest.
You can tell by the
guy on
recognition on
planet.
me and John's faces that we know exactly who those are.
But
You could be like fucking saying, Joe
Hold on.
Smith, and
Hold on a second.
we had Dan on the show. How could you not know who he is?
I know Dan Roebuck from the
But Dwayne
show.
Whitaker, you don't know.
But before he was on the show, and his character, I recognize him from a million shows, but I didn't know his name before we
He's
had him
an
on the show.
him. Yeah, him.
Oh,
that
him,
guy.
yes. Oh, him.
Well, the thing is, Richard really has always been my favorite character actor.
Oh, I'm looking up Richard, really.
You go look up Riehle.
I know that name too. Why do I know?
He's been in a million things. He was in Casino.
Give me his most
always
famous.
playing a
what is
little
he known
different
for?
variation. He plays killers. He plays I don't even want to get
Give me a
pedophile.
role that I might recognize
He has
him
so
from.
much balls to do all this stuff, but he could be the nicest guy on the planet too. In some, it's like recently I just saw him on Barry, which is another person you interviewed, Stephen Root from Barry. Oh my god,
Stephen Root. I know who that is.
Oh my god, yeah. But he was on Barry playing the warden. He just had a guy killed or beat up and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's Richard.
Stephen Root.
Nice
Stephen
guy on the
Root's
planet.
amazing.
Beat him up.
I love Stephen Root in Office Space.
Oh my god. Yeah, my stapler.
Classic.
Stephen Root's the stapler.
I can always just burn the place down.
Burn the place down. Yeah.
He was the character that originally that was written about. What was the character's name?
Milton.
Milton.
Yeah.
It started originally as something about Milton, and then it became the movie Office Space.
The thing with Stephen Root is you want to see range. He's the station manager or station owner on news radio.
Yeah.
Then he plays Milton.
Yeah. Then he's the
And then he
station
played-
manager in what's that with George Clooney and Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Right. Okay. And then in Barry, he plays like the Raven, this crazy guy with tattoos all over his body. The guy, I mean, these
You want
characters.
to see him in a good part? I just saw Buster. I think it was Buster Scruggs or something like that. He played. There was somebody was robbing the bank, and he was the bank teller, and he comes out just great part.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is, you have all these character actors in these movies, in these books, and I mean, so you said you're doing a third. So you have character. Just so people know, Character Kings 1. It's all available on Amazon where you buy books. Character Kings 2. And now you have the John Polito book, which is just out, and the subtitle of it is Unicycling at the Edge of the Abyss, an Actor's Autobiography, which is a great subtitle. And you had him in Character Kings too.
Right.
But what I was going to ask you is, what I asked you first is, you had him in Character Kings 2. Why did it take 7 years for this book to come out? Why did it take so long?
Well, we started working on the project 2014. He had gone to the signing at Dark Delicacies. He went there on his own volition, came out, met the fans, signed books for everybody that bought them. Great experience. And then a few days after I came home, I got an email out of the blue from him saying, "Hey, had a great time, loved meeting your family. I'm thinking about writing my own book, my life story. Would you be interested in helping?" And I couldn't say yes fast enough. I mean, it was like, yes, absolutely.
That's cool.
And so we started in October of 2014, and we'd talk once or twice a week on the phone, and he would tell me stories and I would ask him questions. And this went on for probably almost 18 months. And we finished the first draft in August of 2016, and then he passed away September 1st that year.
Yep, sad,
Wow.
sad day because he was a great man.
Let me ask you a question. So, how do you get in contact with all these character actors to even get the ball rolling?
IMDb. I use that. I look
I
up
would figure
their
just go through their agents and stuff like that. Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
their publicist, yeah.
I get their manager's contact information, their agent, their publicist, whoever, and fire off an email and let things take its course.
And then one of the things I found out in your book about John Polito, and Mike also corroborated this, which I really, and now as we've been hitting the gay bell all episode, it's no secret what my preference is. but I have the worst gaydar on the planet.
Oh yeah. Well,
I
he
do.
played mobsters and
And
gangsters.
to find out that
and
John
tough guys,
Polito
and
was actually gay, I had
he
no
was
friggin' idea.
he was over the top gay. He was hello, hi,
the top gay.
come here. Oh yeah, he was, stop it. He was just, but that was John. That's just the way he was,
Yeah,
And you never know it from his roles.
No, because my
Once.
brother, he was one of my brother's heroes because he played these gangsters and he's tough. So my brother's like, yeah, I love that guy. And when I told him I met him, he's telling me how much he loves that. He does this and he's always killing people. And I said, you know what? You wouldn't believe it, but he's gay. And my brother was like, no, he wouldn't believe me. He would not believe me. He just couldn't. It's like just couldn't understand how this guy could. That's acting. He's a great actor. He convinces you that
he is. I mean,
know.
but then again, that's what acting is all about. It's like there's a thing in Hollywood now where they're saying if it's a gay character, we want to hire a gay actor, and I'm like, no, that's not what acting is.
I know, that's such bullshit.
The thing is, so it didn't matter about what his personal preference was. He's an actor.
Yeah.
Now you said he played Ed Chambers, right? I talked to Scott in the pre-interview, and he said, yeah, he played Ed Chambers. He owned his own closet company. I'm like, wow, he was a gay guy, kind of in the closet. He owned a closet company. That's kind of an in joke right there.
Ring the bell, John. Ring the bell. No,
no. I mean, it really did surprise me.
Well, just because I'm not. See, maybe it's just me. I can't remember if you answered. I asked before, and then we wanted to introduce who he was more. What? So we did answer it because you said that he called you and wanted him to write. But it did. This is the weird question. I feel weird, but did he know his was dying when he wanted to write this book?
He did. That was part of the reason why he wanted to. He knew he was on a ticking clock.
Yeah.
So it takes 7
So
years.
we got a chance to see the book, though, right?
He got to see the first draft.
First draft, yeah. How cool is that?
Nice.
So from the time you finished the first draft to the time it came out, it was 7 years. Is that typical for a book? Does it take that long?
No. I mean, not in my case.
I blame COVID.
Well, COVID.
No, it wasn't even that. No, it was like
I blame the fact that you're a Steeler fan.
Oh no.
You got a Jet fan and a Steeler fan about to go at it.
No, it was after he passed. Just honestly, I couldn't even look at the manuscript for about a year. I mean, it was too painful.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because he had shared with me, I mean, intimate details about his life that maybe only a handful of other people got to experience from him, that he trusted. And it was just such a wonderful working experience being able to, look forward to hearing his voice on the phone a couple times a week. And
I have to read the book. Did he mention a guy named Dr. Rick? Probably not.
Dr. Rick.
There's a lot of doctors in his life near the end. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I think he was hanging out with, may have been involved, I'm not sure, whatever, with a friend of mine named Dr. Rick. I'm not going to say the rest of his name because he's passed on too.
He did get married though, right? He got married, you said, in like right when gay marriage was legalized.
Yeah, in 2015, he married a man named Daryl Armbruster.
Nice.
And I'll just say this now, Daryl is one of the sweetest, kindest individuals that I've had the privilege to meet. He was very supportive of getting this project done after John passed. And he gave me complete and utter freedom to finish this book how I saw fit in John's memory. He never once tried to micromanage it or go over and say, oh no, I don't want this known, or John may have told you that, but I don't think it should be shared. He was
where is the book on Amazon, or like can you buy a physical copy of it, or is it just a download? All right.
No, it's a copy.
Like I said,
the name of the book is John Polito, Unicycling at the Edge of the Abyss, an Actor's Autobiography.
Yeah, I'd like to check it out. I mean, I think a lot of people would be curious, and not only John, but there's many character actors, like you said. I think John said it. John said, that guy, or was it Craig? Somebody said that that guy, and I really think that people would be interested in reading the life stories of some of their favorite characters, because the character guys get no not a lot of credit. It's
That's
all
what I
goes to
love
the
about
star. It
Scott's
all goes
books
to the
is
star.
he goes over and you go into intimate detail on how they got into acting, what they love about acting.
See,
And I can't assume, no offense, John, I can't assume that everybody doesn't know who these people are. So I just want to let people know that if you are interested in, learning about character actors, you have Character Kings 1, you have Clancy Brown, Tobin Bell, Paul.
You'll recognize most of these people.
Yeah, Art LaFleur, Bob Gunton, Jeffrey Coombs from Star Trek, Ray Wise, Martin Cove, Keith David, Ronnie Cox, James Karen, Peter Jason, Daniel Roebuck,
Everyone's
Robert
going, "Who the
Forster, who passed away. He was a great actor. He was in, of course, Jackie Brown, William Sanderson, and 2, you have Charles Martin Smith, who's most famous for.
Wait, Charles Martin Smith?
You know him, right?
No, I don't know.
No, you see, yeah, he played Toad in American Graffiti, and he was also in
That thing with the guy.
No,
the guy with the gun. The guy.
His whole mind is just a plethora of useless knowledge.
This is
Yeah,
not
I know.
useless, dude.
Yes, it's useless.
Anyway,
Listen, let me tell you something. I'm not interested in this. And when I watch a movie, I go, "Oh, that guy," and I look it up. I always have my phone. I look it up. I look at the cast of the show. Then I go, "That's the guy." Then I click on the guy, and then I go, "Oh yeah, I've seen him in blah 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 blah."
With these books,
I just don't know their names.
If you had these books, you could turn to the chapter and read everything about it. It's really, for me, it's like one of the most enjoyable reads I've ever had because I've always wanted to be a character actor.
And in all fairness to Scott, that if this had been 2 months ago when it was a video podcast, people would maybe be able to go, "Oh yeah, I recognize that guy."
You're assuming everybody is as close-minded as you, John.
Well, but I'm going
Not being
along.
close-minded at all.
It's a joke.
I'm going along. I'm saying I would buy.
I find this so. I do.
I would
find this
buy them
really
because,
interesting.
like I said, I like to know the story of character actors. Because, like I said, you never hear about them unless they're involved in some scandal, or something like that. You always hear the stars and whatever. I want to know about, say exactly what the hell sparks these guys.
Mike, do you have a scandal in your history that you're worried about?
I have so many skeletons in my closet.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know.
the teeth of the Hydra over here.
So Scott,
Talk about an obscure reference.
I know. Tell me about it. So Scott, I don't know if you can mention this, but we're about running out of time. But you did mention you're doing a Character Kings 3. Can you mention anybody you have lined up for it?
Yeah, I've talked with Kevin Pollak.
Kevin Pollak, come on.
I know Kevin.
We
Pollak.
know that's somebody. That's somebody John
Kevin
knows.
Pollak was a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Yep. Malcolm McDowell. Got to spend
come
some
on.
time with him.
I know
Everyone
him.
knows who Malcolm
Malcolm
is.
friggin' McDowell, really? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Robert Wool.
Robert Wool.
Robert
Whoa,
Wool.
Robert Wool.
Another
Wow.
Robert
friend.
Wall, who farted out Velarde
this-
in one of the movies.
this-
That's his claim to fame.
I love Robert
I worked
Wool.
with him so many times.
This might be your best book. I mean, wow, you're pulling out
Only
the-
if he
me.
puts
For
you in
me.
it, right?
If he-
Mike Grief.
Oh, I'm going in. Let me tell you something. Scott, we got that understanding, right?
Right.
You got to put me in for the Mike Grief part.
And Scott, I don't know if you're done with it or not, but if you're not, I might have a suggestion for you, but I won't say it on during the podcast. In case you're like, no, no, I'm sorry, no.
Well, that's a good lead in.
Lead
Hey,
into-
I was happened to be really good friends with one of the biggest character actors in the world. And I
Me
went
too.
fishing with him.
Yeah.
Arthur Treacher.
Arthur Treacher loved his fish and chips, man.
yeah.
No, he was in because he was my
Butler. He
grandfather's
played the
best
butler in
friend. He was
every-
my grandfather's best friend. And he used to say that I go, "Who's this guy?" My grandfather would go,
That's it.
"He's in every Shirley Temple movie. He plays the butler."
Well,
I went fishing with him, and he was
Yeah.
the only one that caught fish. And that's a true story.
because he's been on the show, and I've been friends with 30 years with one of a great character, Clint Howard. I've known Clint Howard forever.
Oh, yeah.
And you talk about he's one of those guys you look and go, and I never went fishing with Clint, though. I'll give you that, John. We never went fishing.
I remember as a kid, I was terrorized because they were very rich people. And guess what they had for lunch on a fishing trip?
Fish and chips.
Watercress sandwiches.
Ring the gay bell. Ring the gay bell.
I don't even know what watercress
Is that just English or gay? I don't know.
Watercress is that little green thing they put on the side
English
of
bell. We should have Big Ben.
the reason why. Listen, we got to tell Scott. we had this bell for a long time, and originally we were going to use it when we were interrupting each other, but for some reason
It would have been going
Zoom,
constantly.
Zoom doesn't pick up the bell until we just found a new setting today, so that you can hear the bell. That's the only reason why we use the bell 100 times. It's not like a normal part of the show.
Gotcha.
But
So Scott, just to wrap up, is there anything else you'd like us to know about any of your books or projects that are coming up?
If people want to go to scottvoisin.com,
Okay.
that's my website. That will give you pictures of all the guys that are included in the book, some excerpts from their interviews, so
Awesome.
you get a kind of an idea of what all they talk about and how in depth we go.
can you put that in post at the end, Chris?
VOISIN. Oh, it's going to be it's going to be on the thumbnail, but VOISIN is spelled VOIS, right?
VOISIN.
SIN. Yeah. So that you go to the .com, and when you see a thumbnail,
I will check the books out, man. I definitely will.
I will too.
Unless you want to send me some free ones. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to. I don't. You know what? You deserve to make a living.
Here's the stupid story. I had some health issues this week, right? Especially
that's great, Craig. Anyway, so
and what happened was Scott sent me the book, and I just couldn't read the book. And I told Scott, I'm really guilty. I want to read.
It's not your fault you're illiterate. You just go back to school.
I'll tell you what, after I finish reading it, I'll send it to you so you can read it. How about
You have to send them one in crayon.
Yeah. He didn't know that, now he does. So.
Well, it's been a pleasure, man. It's great.
Thank you, Scott, for being on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Thanks.
Yeah, and
just remember JETS, Jets. It's gonna be a tough year.
And just stick around while we end the show. I want to talk to you afterwards if we can.
Yep, we'll do.
All right, it's all yours, John.
All right, thank you so much. Oh, I'm ending the show. I forgot. Sorry.
No, wait, let me do it.
Oh,
Hey.
John, his drugs kicked in again.
Yeah, wait, gotta get some of Junior's cocaine back.
So hey, well. This is the Big Bad Broadcast. You can catch us any place where you listen to your favorite podcast. Apple Podcasts, Amazon,
Podcast Playground,
everywhere. It's just too many places to mention.
Spotify,
Facebook, everywhere. And catch us every week, every Friday, and then we run through the whole week on the Podcast Playground.
Craig, why don't you give the email? So if somebody wants to email,
the email is thebigbadbroadcast@gmail.com. Send us some comments. Send us some
questions.
Nudes. I don't know, nudes, questions, whatever. That's fine.
Send us some cocaine.
No, that's the White House.
All right,
thanks a lot, everybody.
All righty.
Peace.